challenging.
Yeah, airflow is really, really challenging. How
Yeah.
are you doing with it? Are you working on the project,
So I think,
videos?
what did you say?
Have you finished all the videos so far?
I think so, but I think I need to go back to the custom operators ones.
Okay, okay. So
Yes.
you're working on the project currently, right?
Yes.
Awesome. When do you expect to turn it in?
Oh, I I don't know. I haven't really figured out how to do the first one.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, but I'm looking at your learning plan, and it seems that
Yes.
you're a little bit ahead of the schedule. So you're starting February, you should be starting working with the videos. So you have about 2 weeks of space there to work on videos, work on the project. So I think you're in good shape there. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I'm just always worried because whenever I'm getting very, very confused, I have this fear that I'm not going to be able to finish.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
you are. Don't worry. Um, well, why don't we walk through the project a little bit beforehand, or if you have any specific questions, we can also tackle that.
Um, I'm thinking, is it better for me to show you my screen first so you know where I am, and then you can have a better idea of.
Sure. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go through it.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, why
It's
don't you walk me through your project? Let's do it.
okay. Let's do that. Okay, where's my? Oh, yes. So, yeah, so now I finished. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, so I have finished the default parameters.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is correct, but I finished this.
All right.
And then I try to write the flow.
Okay.
And so basically my first question would be, what's the right way to write the flow? Should we use the caret ones, or we use a set upstream or downstream?
Mm-hmm.
And then let me show you the operators. I have started the first one, stage redshift .pi, and here is where I'm really confused.
Okay.
I think my main confusion it has two aspects. The first one is about all those connections, like S3 hooks or Postgre hooks.
Okay.
And the second one would be the relationship. I mean, what's going on here in the execute stuff? And and especially, I remember we have two folders of the S3, the song and the what's that? The
log,
song,
yeah, and the log data.
and the logs. Yes. So I'm confused about how to connect them with them. So basically,
Right.
here's where I am. So
Okay.
I start. Yeah.
Awesome. I understand. So basically, what's up with all the imports? How do we use those? The other one was about the execute, how to make sure that we connect to both buckets. And
Yes.
the third one was about the way we write what was those methods? Can you show me the first UDASI example?
The DAG.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. How do we do it? How do we write the tables, right? If with upstream or with the, okay, got it. Let me refresh my memory a little bit with that project. Let me open up.
Should I stop sharing and you can share, or?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll share mine.
Okay. Let me stop sharing. Okay.
All right. So, give me just 1 second to look for it. All right, so data pipelines. Data pipelines, got it. Okay. So it seems that it's a big file. It's a zip file. So let me start by downloading it, and then we can go over it together.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember this one was a really difficult one. All right. seems that it's here. Awesome. And I think I also have it in the workspace. So let me open it there as well.
Oh, cool.
All right. No, this not LinkedIn. Data pipelines. All right. Cool. So let's walk through it a little bit first. So basically, these are going to be your da, da, da. Imports provide templates and status needs to be linked to ship. All right. So these are our tasks in the pipeline, right? It says you will provide with a helper class that contains all the SQL transformations. You will need to write the ETL yourself, but you'll need to execute it with your custom operator. So basically, just make sure that every task file is working by itself. And then in the main DAG, just make sure that we link them in the right way. Right? So here this part was a little bit tricky for me, but you just have to follow the instructions to the T, and in order to make sure that you're connected to Airflow. But we can go over that later.
I tried to do the Redshift, but then I deleted because I'm afraid it will charge me.
Right, that's always a thing. So, yeah. Remember to delete your cluster each time you're finished working with a large inspected class.
So we do not have to. So right when you're here, so we do not have to have a create a connection with S3 bucket because it's public. Do I understand correctly, or?
I will have to take another look into the project. I think you do need. Was your question if we need to create a Redshift in order to run the project, or was the question?
So my question, so this is why I'm confused. So I thought we have to process the data. Yeah, we have to move the data from S3 to Redshift. So in this case, do we have to connect? Do we have to connect S3 with Airflow, and then at the same time, Airflow has to be connected with Redshift too? Both of them?
I kind of forgot that. Let me keep reading through the instructions.
Sure.
I don't recall we have to do this, but let's just keep reading. So basically, yeah, this is setting the connection to your Redshift. So this is like the first connection you have to take care of it, and it doesn't mention any S3 so far, but maybe it will. But yeah, this is why for the Redshift.
Yeah, this is why I'm a bit confused. Why do we connect with Redshift, but not S3?
All right, yeah, let's look at that, because maybe remember S3 is like a read. It can be like a read-only bucket, so it doesn't, and you can specify like certain parameters. So maybe it's not as picky, and you can just like put in the S3 bucket path in a sort of a config file. But let's take a look first, because you're definitely right. We have to read from to S3 that Udacity owns. And now also remember that they provided the SQL query, so maybe they already handled it. Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Yes.
All right, so we have the DAG template. Will has all the imports and tasks templates in place, but the task dependencies have been set. We have the operators folder with operator templates and a helper class for the SQL transformations. So you should be able to see your DAG, and it looks something like this. All right, so basically the tasks are there, but they're not finished and they're not connected in an ETL way. All right. So add default parameters according to these guidelines. The DAG doesn't have dependency pass runs. The tasks are tried 3 times, happen in 5 minutes, turn off the email on retry. So this is the first thing that it seems we need to do. And you're absolutely right, the way you set them up. We have to look into the specifics of those. So let's start by looking with the specific of those. You need to run command start there for web server. See this below for example. Before let's see. The DAG going to run. Okay. The blue. All right. We can take a look at the code. So basically, setting the dependencies here is just a thing. It's just going through back to the videos and seeing how they set each dependency, or go through the documentation online just to make sure that you know how to set the dependency. Because as you can see here in the instructions, they're like really specific defaults. I mean, like for example, the first default says doesn't have dependencies on past runs. So you basically Google how you do that on Airflow, and then you set it up that way. So for example, where are my defaults? So yeah, default args on your Udacity start. Yeah, so basically you have like a default arguments right here.
Right. Yeah.
And then here's where you would set up each default, and then you can use the DAG method here, and that we're importing from Airflow, and this will basically say, okay, to this file apply these default arguments, right?
Right. Yes.
So this would be the right way to write the defaults. Basically have a hatch object here, and then a directory, yeah. And then use that as the variable that you use in default arguments inside the DAG method, right? So that's the first thing. Any questions so far there?
No.
All right, awesome. So now let's look at another example here. Because I remember I had an example of how to write those defaults. Oh yeah, I have it on here. All right. So do you have a cat?
Yeah, I have a cat. Yes.
Nice. All right, let me open this file. What's the cat's name?
Whiskers plot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, it's loading that file. What's it taking so long? All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is. Can you see this page as well? Okay, awesome. So as you can see here, we have the default arguments. This time they are filled. All right. So it says depends on past. That argument is going to be false, and that takes care of the first default that you're saying here. Doesn't have dependencies on past runs, and then here we do it this way. So that's why I was telling you that you have to Google each default just to make sure that you're implementing it the right way.
Right. Yeah.
And then you keep doing it here on failure task or retry 3 times, retries 3. Right? So you're basically getting all the defaults here one by one. All right. Any questions there so far?
Oh, no,
awesome.
Not so far. Yeah.
Cool. In addition, if you're the task dependency, so that after the dependencies are set, the graph view follows the flow shown in the image below. Right? For the task dependencies, I believe that is done, yeah, here, right?
So you did in this way, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I like it this way better. I think it's like the arrows really help, like to see the flow of everything. So,
so you did, okay, so this is my question. So I noticed that on line 122, you stopped at load song plays table, and then on 124 you started there. So you broke it apart. Right.
Can you see why? What's the difference between 122 and 123?
I know they have a branch at that point. So my question is, why don't you do it this way? Start operator stage events to Redshift, load song plays table, and then keep going until you reach the end, and then you redo it again. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I feel this way. I mean, this is the way I was taught, so
Okay.
I didn't even try the other way. I will have to try it and see if it provides an error, because maybe the order does affect the way the ETL runs.
Okay.
So that's one thing that you should consider. That's not me saying that it's wrong. That it's just me saying that I haven't tried that approach. Right?
Okay.
But here, yeah, what I'm doing here, what the solution is doing here is that we started with the star operator, and then we handle the events, and then after that we handle the songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the reason you want to handle both of this first is because you need both of them in order to have a complete song place.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, you need
Okay, that
information
makes
about the
sense.
song, and you need information about the event. Because song plays have information about the song, but also information about the user,
Okay.
right? So
I
after
see.
you have your song plays table, then you start doing your song dimension table, and you run the quality check associated just to check that it's correct, and you do the same for all the other tables.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, after the run quality checks, you run the AND operator. And that's
I see.
basically, yeah, this is the
Okay, this makes sense. Okay.
awesome. Cool. So that was one of your questions, which I think is answered. Yeah, I prefer the arrows. I think the flow it's more. It's yeah, you can see it there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To complete the project, you need to build 4 different operators that will stage the data, transform the data, and run checks on data quality. Right? You can reuse the scope from project to learn to utilize Airflow's built-in functionalities as connections and hooks as much as possible. Let Airflow do the heavy lifting when it's possible. All of the operators and task instances will run SQL statements. All right. So the stage operator is expected to be able to load any JSON file. Okay, so this is all like specific information about the stage operator.
Yeah, that's where I'm really stuck on this stage operator.
Nice. Let's go over that then.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, walk me through the details. I just want to know the logic.
Right, like the big picture about it.
Yes.
Cool. So so we're going to build the operator. We need to build 4 different operators, which are basically this 4: the song dimension table, user dimension table, right? And we have to like run the data quality check associated with those. See what's in the rich database. Okay, so let's see. So let's compare what are you given here and what you have to code. Okay, so here you're basically provided with like a default for the main DAG. And for this default of the main DAG, you do have, you don't have to make any changes. Basically, just the default arguments are the ones that you have. Then you have like a start operator, like, which is a dummy variable, just a dummy operator, just telling like start with this. And then you already have the stage events to Redshift here defined, and the stage songs to Redshift here defined. You do have to play with them a little bit, because here is where you handle the logic of reading from the S3. That's question number 2.
Yeah.
So in the stage events to Redshift and stage songs to Redshift, here in this is you telling like, oh, this task, obviously you will have more information in the task file itself, but here you're defining some parameters, like this is the name of the table, this is the connection ID, this is the bucket that I want you to use, and basically like all and these are my credentials, right? So UDAC stage bucket. You might need to change this to the one on that Udacity mentioned on the instruction.
Oh, okay.
And you do the same for this um, uh, stage songs to Redshift. Now notice this thing, the file type of this one is a CSV. You need to specify it. How do we know that it's the file type here is a CSV? You go once again to your instructions and you see the project overview, or where do you see that?
I don't think anywhere has mentioned this CSV thing.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't mention, but I think it's yeah, I don't think they do. Maybe here in the instructions. Screen registry files loading. Where is the target table? Between JSON files. Yeah, I don't think mention. I think this is information just based on like the previous projects. Where do we see the? Oh, here. Yeah. I will have to take a look on where do we get that information, but I'm pretty positive that it's the same, because like in all the previous projects, you remember how all the song data was always in a CSV way and all the log data was like in a JSON or format. So it's the same here. It's the other way around. Sorry. Okay. The songs are in a JSON format, and the events are in a CSV format. So just remember that and take care of that in the file type here, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. Now let's open this file to take a look on those stage events. That should be here. Okay.
This is the part.
Yeah, this is the part. All right. So basically, you have to define a class, right? And maybe they even provide here, right? So they even provide like a small template, right? So here you have like your init method. You super some stuff. You need to map your params here, and then you have your execute. So let's walk through it. So in it, what do you have to do in the init? You have to define your operator params, right, with defaults here. Now,
so here I just don't know what kind of parameters do I even use, because I used a table name, and then I got stuck, and then.
Right now, here that what I'm doing is I'm setting them up all to empty strings. Okay. The reason you can do this is because when you run this stage to Redshift operator, you can pass some parameters here in the main DAG as well. Right? So you can either set this as default parameters in your stage to Redshift operator folder.
Oh, okay.
Or you can set them up here once you actually run that stage to events Redshift operator. Right. So let me say that one more. So here you're defining the class. When you're defining the class, you're basically telling this, hey, you're going to get these parameters when somebody uses you. You're telling the class, all right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they will tell you what Redshift connection ID is, what table name is, S bucket is. So basically here you just need to tell the class that it's going to expect to get these parameters, right? Mm-hmm. And in case they don't give you any parameters, just set it to be an empty string, right? Mm-hmm. But here's where you actually set those parameters.
Oh, you pass in the value.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. So here you just have to make sure that you have like the small variable bucket for it. And here's where you actually pass those parameters.
Okay.
All right. So here I'm telling you, okay, you're going to expect a Redshift connection ID, a table name, S3 bucket, S3 key. You're going to expect all of this. And here's where I'm actually calling. right?
Okay.
Right. This needs to be really, really crystal clear. So that's what you're going to do. Then you're going to well, this is already written for you. And here is just because the way classes work, right? When you receive all of this information, the class needs to store all of this information inside an instance variable, right? Class variable, yeah, an instance variable. So what you need to do, you need to say, okay, the self.table name equals table name. This is just how classes work. This you need to go like into a whole Python thing. I suggest you look at class definitions in the Python. I think you have like a Python course in the extracurriculars.
Yeah. The concept I'm okay with it.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes. So yeah, I'm maybe okay. So my question is, how do you know we should use this amount of parameters? I mean, I do not. I will just, yesterday I was working on this and I only wrote something like table name and Redshift con ID. I would never thought about
all the other ones.
Yes,
I think that S3 makes sense because of you need to read them from somewhere else. But let me look for the specific video or the specific resource that I can send that shows how many you need and which ones.
Okay, that would be really helpful. Yeah.
And we only have 3 more minutes, so let me walk through the same
file
so that you can work on this in the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically here they're telling you you map them and then you need to execute it. Okay, so let's walk the execution, which is right here. Okay, so you're originally looking for the self.log info, which is this basically. Right. So here you are making the Postgres connection. Then you are going to. This is your drop tables basically. And this is the S3 path, which you're getting from this parameters.
Okay.
Right.
So you're creating a new table on the Redshift on the fly.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see.
All right, and then you have like your copy statement, so you're using SQL here, and here you're basically providing the table name that you have that they provided here in the parameters, the path that you set up here, the AWS credentials that you set up here. So basically, you're writing the statements, but you're using the information that was provided to you here. Right?
Okay.
So there's only 1 more minute left and I really need to move. I have another call, 1 more minute.
Yeah, no worries.
But I think we answered your questions in terms of what to do it with the class definition of the DAG, how to use the arrows to create the directory, and how to set up these parameters over here. So I think that should give a pretty clear idea of what you need to do for the other 4.
Yes. Right? Yeah. I took some screenshot. I have to be honest. I took some screenshot on the operator. I think I will work on it, study it, and then I think I'm good to go until next. Thank you so much.
Shoot me some questions as they arise, all right?
Yes. Thank you very much for your help.
It was great meeting you, Brittany, again. It was a great meeting with you today, and wish you luck.
Yes. Thank you. It's really helpful.
Finish line. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.